So you can use oil pastels or neo pastels. I haven't really tried this method with soft pastels, with chalk pastels, so by all means give it a go. I don't see why it shouldn't work, but the advantage of the oil pastels and the neo colours is they're nice sticky pastels, so they transfer from one surface well onto another. So you need to really create yourself a palette that is going to transfer lines and form for you. Now this is the image that I am going to that I want to transfer, so I don't need to fill the whole of the page, just over half of the page, and I'm going to do it completely randomly because I want the colours to come out randomly. So I'm just going to start adding some squares and rectangles and circles. You could stick to one colour or you could do all sorts of colours. It doesn't matter. So try and put the pastel down quite thickly, because the more pastel you put down, the more will transfer. You get the idea. It doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't matter if some of your colours mix there. So let's just move on to one I finished earlier. There we go. So you can see very random. It's not, you know, trying to be anything other than lovely patches of colour. So the next stage is to, well, probably clean your hands, but I'm not going to bother with that, is to get your piece of paper that you want to transfer your design onto. So here it is. And then put your oil pasteled paper face down on that bit of paper. There it is. So you can just sort of peel it back and have a look. There it is, face down. And then you get your design that you want to transfer. So it's really a sandwich. You've got three different things here. Oh, I should have said this paper that I've worked onto, it's just copier paper. You want it to be nice and thin. You don't want anything too thick, because thin layers are much better for pressing through. So there we go, there's my design. Now to stop the design moving too much when I'm working on it, I'm just going to tape it down to the table. That corner and that corner, leave a couple of corners so I can peep as we're going along. And then I'm going to take my HB pencil, something fairly firm here, so HB or B or even H, those would all be fine. You can use a softer pencil, but because my lines are quite hard, quite fine here, I'm going for the harder pencil. And then really it's just a case of, similar to the other tracing method, of going over your lines and applying pressure as you go. It can help to have a different colour to go over the lines with, because then you can see where you've been more easily, but I think the pencil's different enough to the lines underneath so I can see where I've been. And you're putting quite a firm amount of pressure down in order to transfer the oil pastel onto the back sheet. So we'll have a little peep in a minute just to check it's all working. It's always a good idea to check before you do the whole thing and discover it's not working. So let's just have a peep. So that's my drawing layer. There's my palette layer. Aha! It's coming through really well. Brilliant. So we'll pop that back down again and we'll carry on. I'll pause the video so you don't have to watch me do all that, and you'll see what the results are in a minute. Okay, I finished going over all the lines with my pencil, and it's time to reveal. So I'm going to untape my bottom edge and untape my top edge, lift off my oil palette. Woohoo! And there it is. A rather unusual and multicoloured city there, which you could then go on to add some further colour inspired by what's already been laid down, or you could just leave it as a line drawing. So that's called oil transfer method, and was one used by Paul Klee and other artists too. And the nice thing about your oil palette, as it were, you can use it as many times, well, I say as many times as you like. I've certainly used mine 2 or 3 times, and it's still been good because there's plenty of oil pastels still left on there, so you can do another drawing, or I mean, you could even, with this design, I've just transferred the lines on this one, but you could spin it around so you've got a different set of colours there, and then you could fill in some of the internal forms as well, using the same method. Lots of fun to be had with that. Try it out.